of all of the wings. So this wing was built in 1837 and it was used to house the habitual criminals or the lifers. It was known as the retirement village of the prison system. So if you were actually given a sentence that was quite long, you were probably sent to one wing. One wing was also where we had our very own Shawshank Redemption style escape tunnel dug. So in 1977, it took men 2 years to dig a tunnel. They used knives, forks, and somehow managed to smuggle in a shovel. The tunnel was in cell number 4, down on the ground floor. So if you want to have a look at the cell where it was dug when you do your little free time later, cell number 4. You can tell that it's there because the only way they covered it up was to put a big bloody cement slab over it. And it really screws with your OCD. Now, the tunnel went down, it went across to the linen factory next door, it came up, and the guys were all ready to leave. They were going to leave the next day. And then one of them called his grandmother. And he said, "Nan, put on a Sunday roast, I'll see you tomorrow night," and hung up the phone. Now, Nan called the jail. She said, "I believe Michael's getting released tomorrow. What time can I pick him up?" It sparked a few concerns. They did a very thorough search and they found the tunnel. Plot foiled. Now the ringleader and the person whose cell it was this man, Anthony Lenigan, known as Tony Lenigan. Now he was taken out of here and he was sent to Long Bay Jail. And it's said that when he got to Long Bay Jail, he basically lost the will to live. The tunnel had been his life for so long, that he just had nothing left in him. So he became very complacent and he actually became a model prisoner. So before long he was actually on the lowest security that you can imagine. And one day he was out doing the gardening when he just cut a hole in the fence and walked away. Never seen again. He is on Australia's most wanted list, but he's right down the very bottom. And they actually suspect that he went to the cliffs at La Perouse and jumped off and took his own life. Now the one who called his grandmother, he was shipped out of here and he was sent to Silverwater Jail. When he was in Silverwater Jail, he also managed to successfully escape. Whilst he was out, he was one of the 5 men who raped and murdered Anita Colby. Michael Murphy. Absolutely, look at those cold dead eyes. Yeah. Now this wing as well, from 1837 until 1863, is where they housed the women and children. And when I say children, if a lady was sentenced to prison for a crime and she had kids and there was no one on the outside to look after those kids were shipped off with her. So there have been very many children in this wing. Now, for all the years we've been running the tours here, we always focused on the men. Always the men. We never really took into consideration the women and children. And one wing was always pretty flat. Not much happened here. Until one night we decided, actually, let's try and reach out to women and children. So we had one of my staff members is a childcare teacher, and she was sitting right about here. And as she's sitting there, she started singing nursery rhymes. So she was singing things they would have been familiar with, like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and Mary Had a Little Lamb and, Baa Baa Black Sheep, those kind of songs that have been around forever. As she's singing, she suddenly stops and she started hyperventilating. So I'm looking at her and I'm like, "You all right?" She said, "I can't breathe. I can't breathe." And I said, "What's wrong?" She's like, "I just can't breathe." She started to get more and more panicky, so I thought I'm going to have to get her outside. So I went to pick her up, too heavy, couldn't lift her, and she had no strength. So it took 2 of us to get her downstairs, outside. The second she walked out the door, she stood up, she took a deep breath, she said, "That was fantastic, let's go back in." She came back in, nothing else happened. So the next time we came, we bought a whole heap of ye olde toys, so pick-up sticks, jacks and spinning tops, stuff like that. We had it on this table. We had them all strewn around the table. We took a photograph, we left, we went to 3. We came back half an hour later. Every single toy was strewn all over the floor. There was not a single thing left on the table. There'd been no one in here. We still occasionally find pickup sticks lying around. Hasn't happened again though. And then another time we were here, and I had all my desks like this, exactly this same scenario. I walked over and I said, "Can you finish this sound?" I turn around to walk away, and as I do, every single person heard coming from the table. It wasn't just me who pooped myself that night. Quite a few people did.